Hey, what's going on, everybody? Yoshi the Oreo here. So, coming at you again with another video. So today we're going to talk about, I was browsing YouTube's, I came across this very small channel by the name of Revolver Snake, also known as Revolver 667, who came out with a video called YouTubers Are Getting Too Much Money. Now, I'm going to leave a link in the description. I'm also going to pin it in the comments section so people can actually watch the video. I'm not going to play it here, but I want you guys to actually watch it and make an opinion. I actually do agree with him how we live in a society where YouTubers can make, if the most money, people like Voice Critical and Asmongold, even like the lowest motherfuckers to date, like Nick Arcadis and a lot of them motherfuckers, they can make so much money to pay their rent, just essentially yapping their mouths. But then when it comes to people who does the physical labor no one wants to do, they're being underpaid as much as possible. Person working at Walmart, underpaid. Person working at McDonald's, underpaid. Person working some type of job nobody wants to have, but they're being underpaid. But the people that always want the job that's the most extravagant and the most luxurious gets top dollar, not because of their skill, but their ability to manipulate the masses. And I will agree with them. I am sick and tired of it. And I believe there needs to come an awakening, not only on this platform, but in the world, where people put their foot down. And this is something everyone's going to have to come to a conclusion here. But I feel as though that it will never come. It may come, but it's going to be a lot harder because, again, like what is the greatest fear in this world that mankind cannot top? Is it heights? Is it poverty? Is it survival? No, it's self-reflection. Self-reflection scares every single motherfucker on this goddamn planet because it takes away the ability for you to say you're a nice guy. A lot of people don't want to say that. A lot of people don't want to look at themselves and say, I didn't have no reason of contributing to an infrastructure that quite literally pays people, that rips off other people's fucking content while you pay the person $100 for making you simply laugh, as they quite literally react to other people's hard work that gets less view as they make millions of views. I do find that very unfair. I really do. But the problem is it requires us all as individuals to understand why we have this infrastructure like this in the first place. And the reason for that is we have, as a mass, have paid people $1, $5, 10, 25, 50, 100 to $200 for essentially not having no skills except for running their fucking mouth, working their mouth like a trick. That is the problem. That is the problem. I don't have much of a problem with Voice Critical. I don't have much of a problem with Asmongold. They do have some legitimate opinions here and there. But then the question then becomes is, how much money does a person who just runs their mouth honestly should be making? I'm essentially am sick and tired of it because, and here's a little perspective on my end, right? Before Eric July even had his own comic book, before he created his own LLC, he used to do the whole, woke this, woke that, libertarian perspective, yada, yada, et cetera, et cetera. I said, okay, I agree with you. I agree with you. But what are you going to do? Are you going to do anything? Are you going to put your hat in the ring? Are you going to create something? Or are you just going to continuously keep going down this, this spiral of complaining about things that the big corporation, massive corporation ain't really going to listen to you because they don't look at you as a person. They look at you as a product and they just say, give us your fucking money. What are you going to do? I said, here's the thing. You don't do something and throw your hat in the ring, I'm just gonna fucking. Guess what he did? He created something. He created the Ripper. He created his own LLC. You can talk how much it sucks. You can say there's certain things wrong with the drawing, the lighting, the lines. Okay, but it better be good constructive criticism and not deconstructive criticism, because we understand what you mean when you throw deconstructive criticism, when all it does is it deconstructs and it leaves nothing behind but waste. And then you go, well, he's the one that did it, not me. No, you the one that suggested this shit, motherfucker. So you should be held accountable for what the fuck you asking. But he knows when to listen to people. I don't have to tell him about that. He's a grown ass man. He can figure that out. And Mugen Lord can figure that out because he has his own shit. Hell, motherfucking Jade the Concept has his own shit. They can figure it out themselves. They don't need me telling them what to fucking do. Look what the fuck they fucking do. But there are some people on this fucking channel. There are some people on this fucking. Let me say this, Ed. I have no problem with people that play games for a living. I really don't. If that's what you like, that is fine. If that's what you do, that is fine. If people find you entertaining, that is fine. At least know what the hell you're talking about. At least know every nook and cranny about the game you're playing. At least know every little trivia about the game. That justifies the amount of money that you make. But if you don't do that kind of stuff and you're just kind of the guy that just like picks it up and plays it because that's what the people want to see you play, and that's all you do, you don't deserve any money on this platform. Matter of fact, any person who does not have a skill that is crafted within the making of what the hell they put on this platform should not be making any money whatsoever freaking ever. Because they get paid to create slop, because there's no standard. And that is the problem. The problem is that we have created an infrastructure where people can do the most mundane task and think they can make demands such as removing people from society because they watch other things that they cannot digest, such as Lolicon. Well, not Lolicon, but Lolicon. Lolicon is person who watches. I don't want to end up talking like these because they just throw terms on. But I digress. Because there are some people like someone like Mike Hollow, who does nothing more than take other people's fucking work, transform it just a little bit, and calls it his own. He runs fighting game tournaments, which is fine, but you ultimately got to understand your place, Mike. You're not in the position to be making demands like that. Since you want to bring up how certain people need to be removed from society, you better be careful with those types of words, because that type of shit can easily turn around on your ass. And then people will say, why does your black Aquaman, Pierce Morgan looking ass have the right to be in the UK? And what's your response? Oh, because you were protecting children from manga artists in Japan? Last I checked, it wasn't motherfuckers from Japan infiltrating the UK. It was Muslims infiltrating the UK. Last I checked, it was Muslims grooming, raping, trafficking white girls in the UK, 250,000 of them annually. It's not 250,000 of them total. It's annually. That's per year. And you're focusing on things that are part of the branding of your channel, which is gaming and anime. But then you'll look at stuff like that and say, well, it's not part of the brand, so I don't have a reason to talk about it because it's not part of the brand. Okay. That's a really interesting take there. That's a really interesting take. And see, that's why I say, like, people like that, where they don't necessarily have a skill, because that's not going to look really pretty on your resume. Let's be honest here. I mean, what I do would look pretty good on a resume. You know, I fix gaming computers, I fix PCs, desktops, laptops, ranging from HP, Lenovo, Dell, all the way from all legacy models to modern model. I can fix gaming consoles, I can fix game controllers. I'm actually looking into learning soldering. That way I can actually expand my repertoire and actually have a bit more of a skill set that people can rely on and be like, I can reliably take my shit to Yoshi because he can fix the HDMI port on my PS5 or some shit. Or my N64, so long as the parts are available. You know, so long as I can find a spare N64 or what gaming console and just, you know, scrap it for spare parts. Not really hard. I have a skill that's very valuable, but I don't know. Clicking buttons and looking pretty on a camera ain't really necessarily a skill, especially since you the motherfucker talking about removing people from society because they watch specific content you can't fucking stomach. Again, you better be very careful with that. And again, it goes to these YouTubers that got a little taste of power and they think they can throw their weight around, but they have no weight. And this is honestly what I agree with when it comes to Revolver 667. We as consumers created this infrastructure. We have. You can talk about Asmongold, you can talk about Morse Critical, I can talk about Mike Hall as much as I want. I can talk about all these YouTubers that make all this money, but they don't have a skill to show why they have that money in the first place. We can talk about it as much as we want. The fact is, we have to be able to change that, to be willing to give those $50 to $100 to $25 to $5 of people who actually have a skill like Lewis. Hold on, let me pull him up. No, not Louis Farrakhan. I ain't talking about no nation of his. Hold on. I am like horrible with people's. Subscription. All subscriptions. Actually, no. Here's an example. This guy right here. Fox in Space. Took a dead IP. Star Fox. Build and crafted. Took the lore. Build and crafted something that honestly, he deserves the rights to the Star Fox IP. It's people like this that actually deserve that kind of money. All this video you see right here, he built from the ground up, from Blender. By himself, mind you. Granted, it took him a while, but he got better at it. It's people like this that actually deserve that amount of views. It's people like this that actually deserve that amount of super chat, that amount of money. Is it someone's IP? Yeah. But they ain't doing them with it. And he's doing something way better. But, hold on, let me find it. Yeah, Louis Rosman. That was it. 2,000,062 subscribers. He's a computer tech. Actually like him. Actually learned a couple of things from him. Despite the fact, now I have my opinions about Madami from New York. He lives in New York. Now he likes Madami. I don't. I have my opinions about that. However, when it comes to his skills and him fighting for our ability to own our physical media in terms of video games, as well as having a skill that is very useful. He repairs computers. He's a really good tech. He knows his shit. He knows his hardware. He knows his software. These are people that actually deserve that, and he has that. But honestly, I honestly do believe he deserves a lot more than what he currently has. Now that's another person, another channel by the name of wait, am I not? Did YouTube unsubscribe me? Okay, hold on, wait. Hold up. I think YouTube's being sus. Unsubscribe. Why is it not pulling up? Is it case sensitive? It's probably at the very bottom. Hold on. Okay, yeah, it just isn't. That's all. I was like, is YouTube like? Oh yeah, here's another guy. Almighty Lolly. Complains. Matter of fact, he got sick and tired of the complaining. What did he do? He made a solution, made his own comic book. Is he doing it for the money? No, he's actually just doing it for the love of it. Because I think that's a lot of people, what they end up missing is that they focus on the idea of like doing it for the money as opposed to doing it for the love of it. You know, he's doing his shit. He got his own shit. But yeah, tick history. Yeah, there. Okay, so it just didn't. This is a perfectly good example of how this platform that we have created punishes people like Tick, who does very, very good video in terms of studying World War II history. Very good video. He has sources. This man has probably read more books than anybody out there. But the way this platform works is that even though you are talking negative about the funny mustache, YouTube will consider you a threat, irregardless of the context of what you mean by funny mustache man. And it's people like this that get punished for doing the right thing, reading the books, doing the research, writing down what they found, making a video that's digestible for people. And what does he get? He gets less than what your typical BreadTuber makes saying Hitler is right wing. And because he's right wing, therefore we're justified in killing every Republic. And they get millions of views. You know, your Destiny types, your Voshes, your Hassan Pikers of the world. They can be factually wrong, but they make the most money. But people like this get punished because the site punishes you for doing the work. Here's another person. A lot of y'all probably know him. Metatron, great guy. Back then when he was 700,000 subscribers, YouTube had a censor spree on his content and demonetized a lot of his videos pertaining to like 1 to 2 seconds of his history video. Now he had an entire team. He probably still has, I'm not entirely sure. I can't really say. But he had an entire team where they would take the time to gather the evidence, do the research, make the video, double check, triple check their fucking sources. But then what does YouTube do when people do that kind of work? YouTube punishes them. And then what does he do in response of being punished in doing the right thing, doing the work? His response is making culture war content. Culture war content is like, keep in mind, I do like this guy. I really do. But one of my biggest criticisms is that he turned his main channel into a culture war device. That is like one of my biggest criticisms. He could have easily made another channel and did that. But he decided to move the history stuff to Rumble because YouTube doesn't like it when people do their goddamn homework. We created this infrastructure. We have. You can say I didn't, we didn't. No. In some way, shape, or form, you either did it by terms of super chat or you did it in terms of views. We created this infrastructure where the person that does the hard physical labor gets jack shit. But the person that goes out their way to avoid the physical labor, to avoid the hard work, gets paid top dollar. Because we don't look at those people and say, you belong at the fucking bottom. Shut the fuck up. You have to figuratively, I'm saying this figuratively, be willing to cut these people's throats figuratively. It's a dog eat dog world. I understand. I empathize. I'm tired of motherfuckers that don't have no skill on their belt, under their belt, making all this fucking. I'm not talking about Metatron or other people. But it requires us to change ourselves. And it also requires us to admit we are responsible for how this platform turned out the way it is. We are. Because we gave our money to stupid. YouTube saw that and they said, okay, well, if we want to make money, we got to endorse the stupid people. We gave our money to people that throw their opinions, expecting donations in exchange for their opinion. We threw money on that, and YouTube said, okay, if that's what makes money, we'll promote them. We created that. Rather we're talking about bread tubers or people that like to throw their opinions, it don't matter. Whether you're in that group or not, it doesn't really matter. You can be the type of person that makes a Hassan video 24/7, 7 days a week. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. That went the wrong way. But you can talk about Hassan as much as you want, but the more you talk about him, the more relevant he stays. We created this. It's up to us to uncreate. If you are tired of people who don't do nothing but run their mouths and make money when they don't have a skill that justifies why they have that money while you're living check to check, talking about you're making less working at Kroger's or Starbucks or wherever the hell you make your money at, you have the power to fix that. You have the power to fix this channel. You have the power to fix every channel on this platform. It requires you to realize that you are feeding people that don't deserve that money to begin with. And that is the problem with our society. You don't want to pay the person that sweats, but you want to pay the person that avoids the sweat. And then you wonder why our situation is like, why is it people always fail, go up? We put it that way. We made it that way. We said convenience is a lot better than working my butt off to justify why your ass belongs. It became convenient, and look what happened. The question is, are you going to change it? And that's it for this video. Leave a like, leave a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next. Take care and be safe. God bless.